Hey guys, Chiron went retrograde yesterday. What does that mean and why do you care? Hang on and I'll tell you. Hey everybody, it's Laura Giles with Pan Society. Thanks for being here. So Chiron is in retrograde. What does that mean? So Chiron is an asteroid, and why do we care? It's because as above, so below. So if it's happening in the heavens, it's affecting us down here. So if we're paying attention, we can get an idea of what's going on and why. So what is Chiron? So Chiron's an asteroid, and when it's moving in retrograde, what that means is it appears to be going backwards in the sky. So the energy of anything that's going backwards is going to be the reverse of what it would be as it's going forward. Now Chiron is retrograde for 6 months out of the year, so it happens all the time. You probably don't even notice it. When something's that long, it tends to be less of a big deal and less painful. But if you are a Cancer, Capricorn, or Libra, you're going to notice this more than other people. So it really just depends on where it is in your chart. So what is this Chiron energy? Well, it's a good time to talk about the healer archetype with this because they kind of go hand in hand. So Chiron was a figure in Greek mythology, and his mother was a nymph. His father was a Titan, Kronos. So Kronos looked down, saw this beautiful nymph, wanted her, and he began to chase her. She ran, turned herself into a horse to get away from him. He turned himself into a stallion and raped her. Went away, never saw her again. She had a baby who ended up being half human, half horse. She was so horrified that she abandoned him. So Chiron's original wound was the abandonment by his parents. And that's kind of what he represents. So our Chiron is our original wounding. Everybody has an original wound. It's in everybody's chart. And what happens is everybody's born into innocence and love and light and perfection. And then something happens that makes us go, ugh! And then that has the potential to set our life on a certain track. And how we deal with that wound determines how we move throughout the world. So that's why this Chiron is really, really important. So let me finish the Chiron story so we can move on to the healer archetype, because he's very much associated with this healer archetype and it makes it confusing. So he's abandoned by his parents, and fortunately for him, he is fostered by Apollo. So Apollo is the sun. He's all things bright and beautiful. He's the god of music. He's poetry, all these lovely, lovely things. Chiron grows up in a wonderful environment and becomes a healer. In the course of his healing, he teaches many, many, many people, famous people, heroes like Achilles and Hercules and Asclepius, who is a famous healer too. While Hercules was, let's call it practicing, his martial arts, he dipped some arrows in some poison hydra blood, accidentally nicked Chiron in the thigh and wounded him, and he was in pain from then on for the rest of his life because he couldn't die, he couldn't escape it. So that is the wound that most people associate with Chiron, and that's where all the confusion comes in, because they're thinking that, you know, this wound is this pain he's carrying throughout his whole life is the thing that motivates his healing, when in fact he was a healer before that. So how does this work with the healer archetype? So the healer archetype is within everybody, and maybe it comes from that original wound. It's really compassion. It's the desire to soothe what ails us. So it doesn't have to be a physical wound, it could be an emotional wound. It's anything that hurts us, that harms us. We just want to fix it in ourselves and other people. So it's a natural drive. It doesn't have to show up that we end up being healers ourselves in any capacity. It doesn't mean that we become coaches. It doesn't mean we become doctors, nurses, massage therapists, anything like that at all. It's just this innate drive to help ourselves and to help others. So where this goes into shadow, so with all of the archetypes, the shadow is going to be either too much of this energy or too little, and the energy is applied in a distorted and not healthy and balanced way. So when it's over, you get these people like the doctor who's a know-it-all. Like, I am the expert here. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. I'm going to give you a diagnosis and you do this. I am never wrong, kind of thing. You know, you take these pills and you're going to be okay. Or this is your diagnosis. Or, you know, you have 3 weeks to live, and then you're just like, you know, and you believe everything they say because they are the authority. And that's a violation of your sovereignty, because that person doesn't have the right over your health and your choices and you. You know, you have that power. So when it's the healer is kind of playing the underutilized role, that's kind of like when we are not stepping up to the plate and taking responsibility for our own wounds and our own healing. So this is the person who is just like, I give up, what's the use? I can't change anything anyways. Why bother? That's the wounded healer. That's the shadow healer. Let's be clear. So if I'm talking about archetype and energy and I'm talking about shadows, that's what I'm talking about. And when we use the term wounded healer, we're often using the two interchangeably. So the wounded healer, there's this idea that we have to be wounded and we have to be in pain ourselves to help each other. And that is not true. I think that is a way of holding on to our dysfunction. Not a good thing. So heal yourself. You know, everybody can be a healer in wherever you are in life, but you certainly don't have to carry your wounds to do that. You can be a healthy healer, and hopefully you are a healthy healer. So that is really the most important piece of this healer thing. And as you go through this Chiron energy in retrograde, use it as the opportunity to heal those wounds. So it doesn't have to be your primal wound. It could be the one that you're just feeling right now. Maybe you're not in a great relationship. Maybe you're don't have the greatest self-esteem. Maybe your body's not all that healthy. So you're the healer, and your wound is the gift that can get you the healing that you need. So move into it. You know, engage. Ask yourself, how am I living? How am I restoring myself to balance? What needs to change? And don't look out there to somebody else to do it for you. Don't look out there. It's within you. That's part of the healing. It's kind of understanding it that I have an impact here. I have choices. I have control. You know, I can heal myself. So I hope that helped you get through this 6-month period of Chiron in retrograde. If you have any questions, please let me know what they are. I'd love to have a conversation with you. So comment, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another Pan video soon. Ciao.